Hello, this is a PowerPoint tutorial on how to add some circulation motion graphics to your floor plans. This first one will be a simple example, and then the second floor plan will be a little more involved. So for this first one, we have this circular interior that revolves around this special monumental stair. And so we have the floor plan for this space, and if we wanted to demonstrate different scenarios of where circulation for different types of use or different users might be, there's a really easy way to integrate that into a PowerPoint presentation with some pretty simple yet effective motion graphics. So up here in the ribbon we have the Animations tab, so we'll click on that, and then we'll open up over here on the right the Animation pane. Alright, now we'll go back to Home, and we will draw with this curve tool a simple path. Click on that, and we'll start here at the main entrance, and we'll click a couple points. They go to the welcome area, around the perimeter, and find a little workstation to do their work at. Double click and finish that. Now we've got this blue line here, that's the default for PowerPoint. And so we'll right click on that, format shape, and the color scheme of this is orange and green, and we don't necessarily have to do an orange or green. But we'll go ahead and do an orange in this example, since this space correlates with some programmatic differences, the orange being a little more public and the green a little more private. So this will help visualize this is a route for that. And then we'll go to the line properties. We will thicken that up so it's a little easier to see. Maybe something like that. And there we've got a little line. And then I like to polish it a little bit and change the cap type to be round. Kind of makes it look a little nicer, neater, especially since we're doing a round type space, keeping everything round and consistent. So we'll click on this line, and this is really how it's done. Go back to Animation tab, and then we'll go to right here where it says wipe, this little green arrow. So we'll click on that. It'll give us a little preview. Now, as you see in that preview, it didn't animate it in the way that we want it to. We want it to start from the main entrance and end over here. So in the animation pane that we opened earlier, we can see that new animation we added. So we'll click this little down arrow and click on actually, before we do that, we need to change this over here, the effect option. So right now it went from the bottom up, and as you can see, we've got different options here. So we actually are going to want from the right, because we're starting over here and ending over there. So we'll click on from right, and it did that. Went from the entrance to over there. Now that happened really quickly, so there's a way to slow that down. We'll go now into this drop down, hit timing, and we can slow that down. Right now it's very fast, as we saw, and there's some presets that you can click here, or you can type it with your keyboard. So we'll make that last 2 seconds. Hit OK, and there we go. It travels nicely and landed there. So that's a very simple example. Now when it starts to get a little more complicated, like in this project, this project is not more complicated, but what we will do in the floor plan could be. And the reason is that we've got this very rectangular interior space with a lot of rows and columns, and this is a commercial space, as the other one was more of an open office sort of space. So what if we wanted to do a bit more than just a single curved line that goes from one direction to another? What if we wanted to show how a customer might go from the entrance to the brass and woodwind bay, and then over to the guitars. Well, this time we're going to break it up into several pieces. We wouldn't be able to do that very well with just one line. So we'll go back to Home, and this time we'll click on this tool here, the Freeform Shape, and we'll click that. Then we'll start here at the entrance, and we'll click, and then we'll hold Shift, and that snaps to 45 and 90 degrees. And then we'll click, and we'll just place it there. And then we will format shape. And I suppose you could easily also do this just with the line, but if you were to, we'll delete that, maybe start here, do it at an angle, and then pull it over to here, then this can allow us to do of those options from left to right. And we'll see that in a second. So we're back to that default blue, which actually, by the way, there's a way we can get it to not do that blue default if you're going to be drawing a lot of circulation lines. So we'll click this, and this time this one had a yellow and blue color scheme. So we'll hit the eyedropper, hit this yellow, make that a little wider. The yellow doesn't show up very well, so instead we're going to maybe go with a blue. Find a blue that works. That blue works. So now we've got that shape, and since we're going to be drawing more lines and we want it to match this, what we can do after we round that off is right click and hit Set as Default Shape. So every time that we create another one in this view, we don't have to change the color and the width and all those properties every single time. So that just helps us out there. So we'll click on the drawing tool here again, and then what we can do is we can drop down like that. We can do another one where they're leaving. Maybe do it at an angle again. Be kind of consistent. And then over here, and then back down. And now, to animate that, we can click on the object, go to Animations, click on Wipe. Now, it went from bottom up, which is not what we want, so we'll actually change that to go from left. There we go. And this one, we're going to go, well, we haven't added one yet, actually, so we have to tell it what animation we want it to do. And there you can see now we've got two of them. And then we will make that go from top down. Then this one we can do from hit wipe and then change from left to right. And there we go. Now we've got all three. So as you can see, they were very quick again, so we'll change that to, depending on the length, and you can kind of get a feel for it. Maybe this first one, since it's shorter, will be maybe 1.5 seconds. This gives a preview like that. Maybe a little slow, but I think it'd be all right. And then this one, we'll do 0.75 since it is a sort of a short one. There we go. And then this last one, we'll make it take the longest. Maybe a solid 2.25. What does that look like? Maybe just an even 2 will be all right. Yes, there we go. And so now, when you are presenting this, there is a way to keep things automated if you want them to, or control when the next one happens and so forth. So we want this one to happen immediately after this one without having to click a button. So we can click this second one, and it highlights it in orange there, so we know that we've clicked the right one. And we can click this drop down and hit Start with Previous. So what that will do is not what we want, actually. We want Start After Previous. I'm sorry. There we go. So as soon as that's done, it will automatically do that one. You can see the little icons here, actually. There's a mouse. That means when you hit the space bar, the arrow keys, or the mouse, or the clicker, whatever you're using to advance through the slideshow, that's when this animation will happen on a click of some sort. The timer, depending on the timing you've set. And now we've got a second click, and so then that will start. So if we were to put this in presentation mode, I'll click, and does the first one, and then immediately the second one. So it gives you time to then talk and maybe pause there a second, and then the customer goes to the next area. So we click this, and the customer goes to the next area. So there you have it. That's a easy way to implement some visual motion graphics to help make the circulation explanation a little more clear, engaging, etc. So hope that helps, and have a good one.